Hi and welcome back to Kev's Vintage Tractor Repair channel. This is a continuation of our series on the Ferguson FE35 23C engine. In this episode we're going to be removing the cylinder head and having a little talk about bits and pieces along the way. Hope you enjoy. We're still working on the FE35 engine 23C, but today what we're going to do is we're going to remove the injectors, rocker cover, rockers and cylinder head. We're just going to go a little bit further along. To start off, we're going to remove the injectors, which if you remember from the last video, they were very tight in there. So be a bit careful when you're doing this. We don't want to break them, but just see if you can just gently, oh there we go, bit of luck, and gently pull them out. So here we have one of the diesel injectors. Okay, we can see it's burning a bit black. You can see the little injector point on the end, but it is blowing back a little bit of oil plus years and years of dirt on there. So we'll carry on, we'll just get the next three out. With these injectors, they will get sent away to be tested and obviously refurbished as with the pump. So we're going to go with this rebuild and just do everything just to help this tractor along. If one's a bit stuck, I can always get that one out later. But generally, they should come out a bit easier. There we go. There's another one, as we can see. Lovely and dirty. And let's see if we can get this. Oh, I think this one's going to be tight as well. Done, I think. There we go. And sometimes they pop out. So, like I say, they're going to get sent away and be completely refurbished. So I'll leave number 3 in for now. We'll have a go at getting that one out later. What we're going to do now is remove the rocker cover. Obviously this piece of angle I made to help me lift the engine out, but all you'll see is 3 half-inch little nuts on here. Get your phone out or your camera and just take pictures. Take pictures all the way through. I've been doing it for a while now and I still have to take pictures and just reference things back, which way pipes were circulated around, which way wires went. But on the next episode, what we're going to do is talk about time in the engine. Okay, and this is where we will be taking photos, marking it with chalk or a dot punch, just to make it easier for you when you start rebuilding your own engines, if you want to follow this. Let's see what we find in here. And there we go. Okay, so that's the top side of our rocker cover. It's a bit grey in there. I'm looking at there's some water leaking through. And here we are on the other side. So what have we got in here? Let's get this out of the way. So along here is our rocker shaft. Obviously here are our valves, which obviously push rods get moved by the camshaft, pushes up, pushes down on the spring and opens it to expel or draw air in or expel the exhaust vapors and gases. Okay, so as we can see in here, this has missed a few oil changes in its life, and you're going to get bored of me saying it, I know, but there's actually sand in the engine. This is by not restoring them properly. Yes, you can have parts sandblasted, of course you can, there's no problem with that, but it's doing it properly, so it doesn't go all the way through our engine. So what we're going to do, obviously along here are our tappet adjusters. What I generally like to do is relieve the pressure off here, off the springs, and then we'll take the rocker shaft out. This is where we'll adjust everything when we're putting the engine back together, but for now I tend to just like to let the pressure off. So we loosen the nut and then the screwdriver can just take the pressure off. So what we're going to do that is go all the way along. we're on this valve here. So if you look at this spring, you can see it's still under compression. So if we loosen it off, you might not see it very well. You're just taking the pressure off. So it's actually closed that valve. So we'll just carry on as we're going. There we go. Right, so they're all loose all the way along. So next, we've got our 9/16 nuts here, which are on these studs. So I'll get a spanner and we'll undo these. I was taught a long time ago is don't undo all these by leaving in tension. Just do opposite ones, just so that comes off and there's no likelihood of it likely to twist or distort. So now, if the studs come out, it doesn't matter because the head is going to get taken away and being serviced. Get my hand on this side. They're lovely and tight. And there we go. So we'll just remove these. I've got on a different bucket because I'm now working on a different part of the engine. So they come off. There are underneath there sprung washers, but what I like to do is they've been on there 60 plus years, so I generally use new sprung washers when I start putting these back together again. Not in this episode, but when we start doing other things, I'm going to pull apart this whole rocker so we can get in there, clean all this dirt and sand out so it's serviceable again, because I think the sand has done a lot of damage. All we do with this, give it a wiggle and we lift it up. So literally, this is our rocker. If we just lay that here, we can see these tiny holes there. Yeah, so we can see these tiny holes all the way along here. So hence why I want to take it apart so we can clean right out in there, because obviously with the camshaft spinning and obviously giving oil pressure from our oil pump, this is how it gets oiled up the top. It actually comes through this hole here. So we'll put that to one side. We now have our push rods. They're all the same length, whether it be exhaust or inlet side. I haven't done it, but sometimes get a piece of cardboard. All right, this is number 1, always the front of the engine, which is number 1 cylinder. And what we can do, pull them out. I'm not going to inspect them now. I'm going to clean everything and then we'll bring the video back so you can see something else. So obviously number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and obviously number 8. That's how there's just muck everywhere. Now, also on the hair, on top of the valves, we've got these little caps. Okay, which obviously go on top of the inlet and exhaust. All right, they're normally different sizes, but it is something we don't want to lose. Put them in the bucket or somewhere separate so you know exactly where they are when we come to putting the engine back together and then adjusting all the tappets. So we shall take these off. I've seen some just on the exhaust side, just on the inlet side, but this one has obviously got them all. And they are different sizes, so you can't obviously get them muddled up. Well, and that goes in our box again. Okay, now what we're going to do now is undo all the head bolts. When we put it back together, we have to do these up in a certain order. So we'll start in the middle and work our way around. I tend to do a similar thing when we're taking it apart, just to, it doesn't distort the head in any way. But that same thing again, this engine is going to be completely stripped and we're going to service everything. Now, you have nuts and bolts. all the way through. Now, off the top of my head, I think there's like 22, something like that, but we'll get to that at a later stage. So they're 3/4 inch, okay, which we've got here. We'll start here and it should hold. It might not. All right, just loosen them off. I ain't going to hold. I'm going to try it with the air gun. Not the best way, but I can't hold the engine. So on we go. Some of these I haven't done in the right order. We'll do it properly. Let me take it apart. So they're all loose. Generally, if you were just doing a cylinder head job, just changing the head gasket, you're always going to have the outside ones are going to have paint on. All right, it's quite easy. You could put those ones back, okay, so you know they've got paint on. But sometimes when I've worked on these engines, you'll find a painted one on the inside of the rocker cover. And what's going to happen over time, that paint is going to come off and it's going to start blocking all the ways. But we're going to clean all these, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a brand new bolt and stud set into it as well, because these could have been stretched. Make sure you get all the washers as well, because they're all there, part of it as well, in our bucket. Obviously, we've got long ones on the top, and inside we've got shorter ones. So now all our nuts and washers again. Same thing again, when you're working on these, and if it pulls a stud out with the nut, don't worry about it. You can put it in a vise and take it off, and then we can also Loctite, if we need to, the studs back down into the main part of the block. All right, another thing to point out when we're working on these, and if you just want to replace the injectors, okay, you got a faulty one or you just serviced it, just be aware we have all this dirt, and when you pull these out, where's it going to go? Straight down there into our cylinder. All right, so it's just something to be aware of. Made a bit of a space, so let's see how tight this is on here. Bit of luck. So let's wiggle it up. Okay, so here we are on the underside of our cylinder head. It's burning okay. There's nothing, I can't really see too much yet. I think somebody's had a go at this before, seen the scratches in there. And this one, number 2, we can see lots of pitting in there. So water's obviously got in there at some point. You can see it actually going around the back of the seat, and obviously water coming across there. All right, so that's that. I'll clean it up and then we can have a better look a little later on. Just have a quick look at the block, and we can see here the head gasket has gone. It's on the water jacket side, so we can see, yeah, number 2, like we saw the pitting on there, water has got in there. That's inside. That'll be as far as I get with this today. The next video I do, we will talk about timing, okay? The timing chain, timing marks, pump timing, and obviously the timing mark on the back of the flywheel. We have all these marks, they're there to help us. This is how I do it, and I hope what I'm showing you is going to help you. So thank you for joining. Any comments, please post them, and I'll do my best to get back to you with any questions you've got.